Welcome to Over 40, Fabulous and Pregnant. This is episode 8. I'm your host, Jamie Massey, and it's taboo to talk about a woman's age today. But I want to celebrate it and support every woman's pregnancy journey over 40. While we do discuss medical treatments and medicine, you know we're not doctors. These are women's experiences that came before us, not medical advice. On today's show, we have Jackie from Kentucky. She turned 40 during her pregnancy, and during this recording, she was 35 weeks pregnant. Since then, she has had her baby just about when she expected. I have her update to share at the end of her story, so stay tuned. She also thought, before she found out she was pregnant, she was having menopausal symptoms. She was so worried something was wrong when the doctor wanted to do a sonogram. So to say this was a surprise pregnancy was an understatement. And Jackie is a really good example of this virtual girl talk that I really want to give. For example, she mentions the Thomas method for breastfeeding, and I've never heard of it. And I just love that word of mouth of women just talking to each other, and you kind of pick up on those nuggets that you want to take with you and to make your experience so much better. Don't forget, if you have any questions or comments, you can email me at jamie@over40fabulousandpregnant.com and follow us on Instagram with the same handle. Now, our IVF update. On the last episode, I mentioned we only got one mature egg. I think that phone call was like the next day after or 2 days later. And she said over the weekend that they would watch it, and then Monday they would do testing. And Monday she called. She said it hasn't made it to the blastocyst, I don't know if I'm saying that right, stage yet. But it was growing, and she said, it's growing a little slow, and that she would give it about a 50-50 chance. And I was so indifferent, and my emotions were just everywhere, I think. And she said she would call the next day with an update to see how the growth was going. And so I updated my family, and the next day she called fairly early in the morning. That's what I love about this clinic is they call so promptly, it seems, that I don't feel like I have to wait all day to get news. And so she called that morning, like the 9 o'clock hour, and she told us that the embryo didn't make it. She didn't have a lot of information for us. She goes, it can stall at any time. And I asked, would it be worth waiting another day to see if it continues to grow? And she was like, it was already growing slow in the first place. And, I asked a few more questions, and she's like, I'm not your doctor. I can't really say much. But she got us an appointment with the doctor a few days later. I was just absolutely crushed. I would compare this to a miscarriage that really didn't happen inside my womb, right? I'm not bleeding because of it. You don't have the physical traits that are happening, the physical effects in your body that are happening. But I guess to me, this really feels like a miscarriage. We got the call from the doctor, and she was very nice about it. And I'm like, look, let's just cut to the chase. Where do we need to go from here? And she basically said that I'm on the highest dose, and we only got one egg. Well, technically two, but only one was good. And she said, because I have low egg reserves, that she recommends that we do an egg donor. I had a hard time holding it in. I didn't do a very good job at it. I guess just my first thought is that it's important to me to pass down my genes and all the bad ones, all the good ones. And I first got sad about it. And then my second thought was, I've always wanted to adopt. This might be perfect. I think I can get on board with this. I've always wanted one of my own and one to adopt. And I even went to the eye doctor last year, like it was over a year ago. And she told me, I think she was 50, and about their adoption story and how she was still thinking about getting pregnant or adopting, and they were going through the process. And she mentioned to me about being able to adopt embryos, and they're called snowflake embryos. And I was like, that sounds so cool. That sounds like such a good idea. I loved this idea. We actually talked with the doctor about this idea, but she suggested that there's a lower chance of success with a donated embryo. So at this point, I'm like, give us the best shot and let's do it. And I think we're just kind of sitting on this for a little while. If we do go through with this, we have a counseling appointment to go to, I guess, to verify that we're going to be okay with a donor egg. And I don't know how much of that I will be sharing. I love the idea of sharing. I mean, clearly I have a podcast, but my husband is very private about things. And I love the idea of giving out information to people. My husband has been such a trooper through this. We might be sharing it. I'm not sure. So we're just kind of taking it one day at a time, and we're just continuing the conversation of, is this right? What are your concerns? What about this? What about that? So that's what's happening with my update. I can't wait. Like, this gives me so much hope, and I'm so confident this is going to work. I can't wait. I'm like, okay, if we just make the decision, let's just go. And she actually, because my first thing is like, okay, doc, give me a timeline. And she said, well, if y'all hurry up on your counseling appointment, we could possibly have an egg by January. I was like, oh my gosh, that's soon. So I really hope to be sharing some good news. And, if I don't, I hope that's okay too. And with that, let's get on with Jackie's story. Jackie, welcome to Over 40, Fabulous and Pregnant.
Hi, Jamie. Thanks so much for having me.
Thanks for coming on. Yeah. And before we get started, will you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure can. So my name is Jackie Newman, and I'm 40 years old. Turned 40 in April, and I am from Bowling Green, Kentucky. I am a licensed professional clinical counselor with a private practice, and I also specialize in trauma and seeing spouses or partners who have experienced betrayal trauma through either affairs or sexually acting out behaviors of their spouses. It's a part of my own story, and so I am grateful to be able to be trained to walk alongside those who are experiencing something similar. I also work as a guide at on-site workshops in Nashville, Tennessee, and also Bethesda workshops in Nashville, Tennessee as well. Continuing to help people through kind of wherever they're at in life.
That's awesome. It sounds like you really like serving.
I love it. I love it.
That's great. Tell us about your family. And you are pregnant.
Yes. I am 35 weeks pregnant today.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So I have Yeah, we have 4 little boys already. Age range from 11 to 5 years old is our youngest, Ben. My husband, kind of due to our struggles, he has been a stay-at-home dad since 2020, taking care of our boys and doing an excellent job at it. And we also have a little toy Aussie girl named Marvel. So that's our family, 4 boys, and then this is a little girl on the way. A very unexpected little girl.
Please tell us about how you found out you're pregnant and y'all weren't trying, correct?
Not in the slightest. I think it's a good story. Now I can look back and laugh and be grateful. It was a little terrifying and shocking then, but so yeah, I turned 40 on April 12th of this year.
Oh, my birthday's on the 13th. Yay!
Is it?
Aries.
Oh, kind of birthday buddies. Yeah, that's right. So, I turned 40 on my birthday. To be honest, I wasn't super excited about turning 40. Struggling with that a little bit. And after that, you turn 40 and you have your routine exam, your first mammogram. And so the week after I turned 40, I went to my regular appointment. I had, for the past, I don't know, month or so, maybe more, I had been experiencing what I thought were premenopausal symptoms. My sister went into menopause really early. She went into menopause at 40, and I was having her exact same symptoms. Nowhere on my radar was pregnancy, nor my husband's. We have a history of getting pregnant very quickly. For some reason, I'm very, very fertile, apparently, and it doesn't take much for me to get pregnant. So we're genuinely very, very careful and very, aware. And it was nowhere on our radar. I was convinced that I was.
You weren't on
menopause.
birth control. Y'all were just planning.
We plan. We've always been very intentional about just kind of tracking the cycle and knowing. And I mean, we use protection. We use condoms and so we assumed that we were safe. We were fine. And so, I went into the doctor and I told them, I said, I'm having premenopausal symptoms. My sister started this early. And, the doctor said, well, I'm going to have to do an ultrasound. You know you're not pregnant, so I'm going to do an ultrasound in case there are any fibroids in there that we need to tend to. And so I called my husband. I was freaking out. I then convinced myself that I had cancer. It's like, oh my God, it's not menopause. It's cancer. Like, that's what's wrong with me.
Your mind goes straight to the negativity. So does mine.
Yes. So I called him. I was freaking out. I said, can you please come to the hospital? Because I'm freaking out about this. The doctor wants me to have an ultrasound. So my husband and our youngest little boy came to the hospital to sit with me. I went into the back to the ultrasound by myself, while they waited. And oh my gosh, Jamie, this poor ultrasound girl, this ultrasound tech, I could tell by her face, she was like, oh my goodness, this lady does not want to hear what I'm about to tell her. So she is not prepared. So she took a deep breath and she said, well, there's a baby in there. And I was in just total shock. And she said, do you need a minute? And we're going to have to do a transvaginal ultrasound. Baby's really small, so we need to check it out and just to see what's going on. Your husband can come in for this one. So again, I was just in shock, and I shook my head, and I was like, yes, I need a minute. And so I like beelined it to the bathroom and it just broke down and it was in tears.
What were you thinking?
And I just did. I was so much in shock. I did not want to be pregnant. And so we had our last one when I was 35. And my mom had me when she was 35 years old. And she did not take good care of herself. She passed away fairly young. She was in her early 60s. And she just, I didn't want to be that kind of mom that was old and sick. And that's how I saw her. And so I was terrified that I would follow suit. Like, I have to be done having babies before I'm 35, so my kids don't have a mom who's, super old. And so that was more of just kind of the mental place I was in. Like, I just turned 40. I don't want to be pregnant. Our last birth was really traumatic for me. It would mean that we have to move out of our current house. My husband didn't have a job. I'm the only one making an income. And my job had just gotten to a really great place where I was able to travel quite a bit for it and do what I really want to do. And so, like, all these things going through my brain, like, this can't be happening right now. I'm not pregnant. And so I remember going out of the bathroom and sitting down beside him. He was still in the waiting room. And I was apparently just like white as a sheet. And I sat down and he looked at me. He's like, is everything okay? And I said something pretty much to the effect of, they found a baby.
They found one.
They found one. And so then he just turns white as a sheet, and like we're both just sitting there in shock. And so the sweet nurses, they came out and they said, so the nurses station has agreed to watch your son while you both come back for the ultrasound.
Oh, that was nice of them.
Yeah. Yeah. We've been going to this doctor's office for a long time. They've delivered 2 of our babies. And so our doctor there has delivered 2 of our babies. And so after the ultrasound and it was confirmed that there was a baby in there, we went back into their office and they all just kind of looked at us and smiled and they kind of giggled and they're like, again, huh? So they had a good laugh. We were still in shock. But I had realized that I was so scared when they told me that he needed to do an ultrasound because he wanted to look for fibroids. I started texting my brother and my sister and my 3 best friends. And I said, y'all, I'm really scared. I need you to pray for me. I think I said the doctor thinks there's something wrong. When he knew, he was like, this girl, like, she's pregnant and she doesn't even know it yet. And so I knew, like, after we left the hospital, like, I picked up my phone and I had missed so many, like, group text messages, like, little gifts of people, like, pacing back and forth. They're, like, knocking, like, are you okay?
So did you tell him at that point?
And so I did. I didn't know what else to do. I sent them a picture of an ultrasound and I said, well, it's not cancer. So, it was those first few months were very much just like an in shock kind of denial kind of blur.
So how far along were you when you found out?
7 weeks. 7 weeks. Yeah.
That's not too bad.
So, no, and I, I didn't feel typical, like I said, I've had 4 boys. And so, I know my body, I know what pregnancy has typically felt like every time. And I didn't, at that point, I hadn't had any of that. I normally get very, very tired, just instant, like unexplainable fatigue, or my breasts would get really tender. I didn't have any of that. I wasn't having a period, and I actually, like, what seemed like was kind of spotting some, and that wasn't normal. And Yeah, just nowhere on the radar.
That's fun. So how has this pregnancy been different overall?
Overall, to be honest, I have been really intentional. Like going into 40, I'm probably the healthiest that I've ever been. And some of that is through just our, like, I call it like my recovery work through my story, and through like mine and my husband's marriage. We've done a lot of recovery work. We've done just a lot of mental health work, and just trying to be really intentional and aware. So I have taken a lot better care of myself. Like I go to a gym that specializes in boxing.
Oh, that's so fun.
And so it's super fun and super empowering. And so it helps me just feel good, and it helps me feel younger. It helps me just feel like I'm in shape. And so I feel better physically now than I have with any of my past pregnancies.
Have you changed your diet at all?
Not a lot. And honestly, like, I'm the worst. I'm horrible. I have a kind of an addiction to Coca-Cola, so that's been hard to let go of. I still probably drink more than I should of that. I'm a big sweets person. This little one has my cravings have been. She's been a Taco Bell baby.
So that's been your craving, is Taco Bell?
That Taco Bell was like first and second trimester. And then this trimester, it has been just ice, like craving like, the soft nuggety, like Sonic ice, or the really good. I've always been an ice cruncher, but in this trimester, it has like ramped up to like times 100. I can go to my gas station down the road from my office. They see me walk in and they just give me cups of ice now.
That's fun.
They don't charge me for them. They just give them to me. And I eat ice. I eat on ice all day long. And people assume that I'm anemic, and I'm not.
It's a habit.
That's been a really big craving. I've had a lot of heartburn, which is pretty consistent with all of my pregnancies. But with her, it's just, again, like ramped up. Every single day I can think about eating and I get heartburn. And this one has been different because my gag reflex is a lot worse with this one. So again, like, which my boys think is hysterical. They will try. It's like a game. Like, okay, who's going to make mom throw up? So that's been kind of tough because it, like, nausea will hit me very quickly, and it's like I don't have time. Sometimes I don't have time to get to the bathroom. I've thrown up on my window, on my car window.
Oh, no.
Just trying to open the door. And so that's been a little harder with this one.
You think this has been the hardest pregnancy?
That's a tough one. I remember being in more pain with one of my boys earlier. I actually struggled really, really badly with like pregnancy hemorrhoids, and I remember having to, like, at one point having to crawl on the floor with one of them because it hurt so bad to walk. So to some extent, I have learned how to manage some of those symptoms, and I have felt better because I've been intentional to just kind of know what's coming and anticipate it. But I don't know if it's because I'm 40 and it just takes a little bit more of a toll on me. I'm definitely a lot more tired earlier. Now, like 35 weeks, I'm like, okay, this girl's we got to get her out.
Eviction notice.
Yeah, yes.
So when is your due date? I don't think you've mentioned that.
Oh, right. So I am due. Her due date is December 2nd. I don't know that I actually mentioned that it was a girl after 4, like, yeah. So we have 4 boys, and now we've got the little girl coming, which also helped with, like, the acceptance piece. and coming around and getting excited about being pregnant. So anyway, she's due December 2nd. But my last two babies, they were born at 36 and a half weeks and then 37 weeks. So I am guessing if she doesn't make her appearance next week, which I feel like there's a possibility that she could, probably like first full week of November or second full week. Second week of November.
So are you having any Braxton Hicks yet or anything?
Yes, I started having Braxton Hicks months ago, like
really?
in second trimester. I actually felt her move. Most people don't believe this. My doctor did, though. I could feel her move about 13 weeks.
Whoa.
The quickening. And so, yeah, I don't know if it's because I've had so many or just because mentally I'm a little more attuned to my body and I pick up on things a lot easier, a lot quicker now. My history is that my babies come they're coming earlier with each one and a lot quicker. My firstborn, his active labor with him was 8 hours.
That's not bad.
It's not at all. Like I walked around dilated maybe between 1 and 3 centimeters for a couple weeks, but then active labor kicked in and he was born in 8 hours. And that just gets shorter and shorter. My last one was born like start to finish in 2.5 hours.
That's amazing.
Yes. Amazing, unexpected. So yeah, I've been feeling Braxton Hicks for a long time. I did the other night. I had a contraction that moved from a Braxton Hicks, and then I felt that labor pain, like an actual contraction. And it's like my body remembered. Like I said, like my last birth was really traumatic for me. I did not have time to make it to the hospital to get any medication. And I wasn't mentally prepared to have a natural, non-medicated birth. And, I went in all happy and thinking, oh, this is going to be great. And I thought they were getting me ready for the epidural. And, the little guy was hooking up the bag. And I think I even asked him, like, are you about to put the epidural in? And he said, oh, no, honey, you don't have time for that. We're just giving you fluid.
Oh, gosh. Surprise!
Like, what? Like, are you going to give me Tylenol? And so that was a really hard one. That was a really, really hard birth. And my body remembered that. I think when I had the contraction the other night, it remembered that feeling. And it was like, oh no, we're getting close. Like my body is prepping, and I haven't had any more of those, but that leads me to believe that she's going to get here within a couple weeks. So who knows? She may not. She may surprise me. She may wait until her due date, but I kind of doubt it.
I can't wait to find out.
Yeah. She's moving a ton.
Oh, good.
So
I feel like I would like that reassurance of her moving all the time.
Yeah. I actually think she moves a lot more than any of my boys did. And it's always at night when I sit down to watch TV, or if I lay down in bed, like that's when she starts like throwing elbows and moving feet. She makes really, really strong movements too. Like they will like take my breath away, and I don't remember that with my boys. Yeah. So I don't know what that means about her. Like just the thought of having a girl that is a whole new thing to wrap our minds around, because I am a boy mom, like through and through. And so
now what are you going to call yourself?
I was thinking about that the other day. Like I can't say I'm just I'm still a boy mom, but now I can't, like if I'm talking to people, I can't say the boys. Like I have to say the kids now. And we've just always been such a big family of boys, and now it's like this girl is just shaking up our whole world.
Yeah, she's in for it.
She is. She is.
And
she already has them wrapped around their fingers.
Good. They're going to be all protectors of her, I'm sure.
Oh my gosh. I can't even imagine. As she grows up, I can't imagine the people, like, if she brings boys to the house, if she, makes me nervous for any boyfriends she may have in the future.
Well, speaking of girls, let's go back to you finding out the gender. Have you always found out the gender of your kids?
Yes. There was a point where we thought it could be fun to wait and see, but then my husband he can't wait. And we also like to be prepared, like if we had all the boy things, and I think we just always decided that we wanted to know and we wanted to be prepared. And there was a part of us that with every kiddo, we really wanted to have a girl. My husband has always wanted to be daddy to a little girl, and we just assumed, we had accepted that it would never happen. But yeah, we would always find out the gender, and so every time it was like, of course, it's another boy. My husband has 2 brothers, and his dad has 2 brothers. So I was kind of always in our cards to have a brood of boys. And so we, with this one, I think that was also another fear with having, my goodness, a 5th baby. That still sounds weird when I say it. I'm like, that's so many kids. That was our kind of fear that it would, of course we're going to have another boy because that's what we do.
That's the only thing you've had.
It's the only thing we have.
Yeah.
It's the only thing we know. Apparently it's the only thing my body can make. But we were on vacation with my husband's family and our boys in Orange Beach, Alabama. And we had the genetic testing done before, which also tells you the gender. And I remember our doctor's office called, and the receptionist there, we have this great relationship with her because, again, we know her so well now. Her name's Crystal. She called with the results, and she said, baby is very healthy. There are no issues. The test came back, clear. Do you want to know what you're having? And we kind of hesitantly were like, okay, yeah, sure.
So you're in the doctor's office, or is this on the phone?
We were on the phone.
Okay.
At the beach. Our
That's a great place to find out, though.
Right? Yes. Actually, they called, and we had just pulled back up to the condo, and all of our kids were spilling out of the van, and the in-laws were going in to the condo, and so we kind of shouted at them like, hey, just a second, there's a phone call we need to take. And so we sat there, and I was so nervous. I could not talk to her. I had to let Scott, my husband, talk to her. And she goes, well, what do you think it is? And Scott said, well, apparently the only thing we can make are boys, so we're assuming it's a boy. And she laughed, and she said, well, this one is going to have to be a tomboy because it's a little girl. And I just immediately start bawling. And the only thing I could say, I was like, are you sure? Are you serious? It's a girl? Are you sure? Or do you know for sure? Because I couldn't believe her. And my husband started crying, and so that's the news that we needed to hear, I think, if it had been a boy, we would have, of course, loved and accepted and been excited about having 5 boys. But this made it a little sweeter, I think.
She's going to be so spoiled, too. I can feel it.
I know. She's the only one so far to actually have an actual nursery. We've always been in transition when we've had our boys, and we've never been able to make to really nest and make an actual nursery.
Because you've been moving, or
because we've been moving, or like we've lived in apartments, and so, or we haven't had space, like they've had to share a room with us or with another brother, and so moving into this new house, we intentionally left a room to make a nursery for her. And so the nursery is all done and it is set up, and my husband will go in her nursery and he'll just stand there at the door, and sometimes I'll pass him and like I can see like he's tearing up.
That's so sweet.
So we're very, very excited for this one to be a little girl. And so is the rest of her family.
So for this pregnancy and baby, how are you preparing for birth in the baby differently than you have before? Like classes, that sort of thing?
So with this one, I have always had, for the most part, very, very easy pregnancies. I'm one of those people. I genuinely do love to be pregnant. I remember one doctor that delivered the baby, I think maybe it was our second or third one. She said, "Girl, you were born, like your body was made to have babies." And so pregnancy and birth typically comes very quickly and smoothly. The hardest part for me has always been nursing and breastfeeding. I have always had really severe like nipple trauma and pain with trying to nurse and breastfeed. All of my boys so far have either been lip tied or tongue tied or both. And so that's always been a really big thing. So I'm currently with her, I'm trying to prepare myself a little bit more for that. In addition to birth itself, so rewind a little bit, but just preparing for birth, because I know that my last one came so quickly, I know that there's a chance that she could come just as fast, if not faster. I even watched my husband, or I even made my husband watch like a YouTube video of a lady having a baby in a car. I said, just so you know, this could be a possibility, and here's what you need to do. But I have, because I know that there's a chance that it might be an unmedicated birth again, like I'm going over a lot of like breath work and meditations, and as a therapist, I love to do like guided imagery. And so I've been doing that for myself some, and just trying different exercises to try and focus, up to like 90 seconds at a time. And there's a little exercise you can do where you hold a piece of ice for 30 seconds. And then you stop, and then you hold it for 60 seconds, and you try and like breathe through it and meditate through it, and it goes up to 90 seconds. So that's kind of become routine for me to try that, to see if I can just kind of stay focused and calm.
Have you tried or thought about hypnobirthing?
There has been a big part of me that has been very curious, and even kind of would almost rather do hypnobirth or just be prepared to stay at home and have her, because I feel like I would be in more control. Yeah. As opposed to at the hospital where the last time they just made me lay flat on the bed, and that was just no fun. No. And there's a part of me that feels like it would be a lot less painful if I had more control over, being able to do active labor, walking around or squatting, or so I have considered that.
You're still considering this late in your pregnancy?
No, I'm at this point. The plan is to go to the hospital. Okay. Now, if something happens and we're at home and I feel like it's just going to progress so quickly that we can't get there, I may choose to stay at home and call I have a friend who is a doula, and she is on call and ready if I need her. And so I'm kind of preparing for both scenarios mentally. I'm trying to okay, if it feels like it's going to get if it's going to be too fast, I'm trying to make a plan at home on how to have her. But the plan is to get to the hospital.
Okay.
So, yeah, just trying to kind of wrap my head around both of those things. And we still want to, we're actually going to see our doctor on Monday. And the plan is to kind of ask him about, okay, if we get to the hospital, you know, she's coming so quickly that we can't have any, that I can't have any medication. Like, do I have the ability to stand up until labor rather than just being forced to lay in the bed? And so everything happened so quickly last time. I didn't think to advocate for myself in that way. And I was just doing what they told me to do because I was so scared. But now, like, again, I've just kind of been researching different things and know that it's totally fine for me to advocate for what I feel like would be best, and to make sure I try to give myself a voice in the hospital and say, here's what I would really like to do. So I'm trying to prepare to do that too.
That's really important to me. Like, I want to be able to walk around, and if I'm not comfortable laying flat on my back, then I don't want to have birth that way or give birth that way.
Yeah. With every birth thus far, I've also torn really badly. And so I've had to have episiotomies, and I know now that, again, if I'm able to labor standing up or squatting, that actually will help minimize the instance that could happen. So, again, just really trying to, like, talk myself into advocating for what I need when I get there. I've been looking at doing some kind of online classes on the Thompson method for breastfeeding.
Oh, what's that?
It's a much more natural, like, they really focus on, I forget the lady's first name, her last name is Thompson, but she's been a doula midwife for 30, 40 years. And they talk about how often in the hospital with lactation consultants often teach, like, the cross cradle method, and they teach baby to latch a certain way, but apparently that way often does create nipple trauma, because with cross cradling, you hold the neck and you kind of force baby on the breast a certain way. It's kind of like nipple to nose is the cross cradle method. With this method, they focus on what's called the 3 golden hours, and really focus on the importance of, if your baby has, I don't know how to explain it, but an APGAR score. All babies are given an APGAR score when they're born. I wish I could tell you what all that stands for, but all I know is that if their APGAR score is 7 or above, then the baby should be able to be with mom for at least 3 hours without any interruption. So without weighing, without, giving them a bath, like, just allowing them to be on mom for 3 hours. And with the Thompson method, rather than just forcing baby onto the breast, you allow the baby the time to kind of just find the breast on their own, which is their natural instinct.
I've seen them, like, kind of scrunch up and kind of crawl a little bit on the mom.
Yeah, which that's what they're innately, that's what they do, right? And so rather than being forced onto mom, they get to do it the way that they were made to, and just kind of find it on their own with just mom's gentle guidance, just kind of cradling them, and allowing the baby to latch on their own. Helps decrease that instance of nipple trauma. And so, again, I've had so much trauma before. I'm like, okay, we're doing something different this time. And so it just seems like a much more natural, easier way with way less pressure on mom and baby. So I'm doing some little online classes, just kind of learning how to do that. And I really want to be able to advocate for that too when I'm in the hospital, rather than have a lactation consultant come in and just try to kind of take over, which unfortunately happens more often than not because they have an agenda.
Yes.
And so being kind of steadfast in, no. As long as the baby is okay to be with me, that's what I want. Like those uninterrupted few hours just to let baby kind of get used to it and learn how to latch on their own.
Now, is that the same thing as like the skin to skin, or is that, I think that's more of a bonding thing, right? Or is just one step up?
Yeah, so skin to skin really is more of a bonding thing because babies need that skin to skin contact to help regulate their temperature, to also just kind of emotionally co-regulate with mom or dad. That's why, like skin to skin or kangaroo care or whatever is just so important because it helps baby regulate their body temp, their emotion outside of the womb. And so with this kind of method of breastfeeding, it's kind of a level up of that, right? Like it's skin to skin contact and they're getting what they need to. Like they're getting those really, really important nutrients from the colostrum. Yeah, I think it's the most nurturing way that you can really kind of assist and be with baby those first few hours. And we do a lot of skin-to-skin contact with our babies. My husband will sit around and when we're at home, like he'll stick baby in his t-shirt and just hold him like skin to skin. And it really does help. I think it helps create calmer babies, and it truly does help them thrive later on when they have that just skin to skin touch. So I'm a fan of the kangaroo care, just kind of holding them close as much as possible.
So are you gonna hire your friend to be your doula? Have you ever had one before?
I've never had a doula. Again, it's something that I've always kind of wanted, but I've just never allowed myself. I think, extra cost. Like I've always known that I wanted to do hospital birth, and our doctor is wonderful. I think I didn't actually know until this baby that you could actually do both, that you can have both, that you can go to the hospital and have a hospital birth and use your doctor and have a doula come alongside you. I always thought that you had to choose one or the other, and that's just not true. My friend who's a doula works at the hospital, and she kind of comes alongside, and she's a nurse there and she has a doula practice. And so I haven't used her, haven't really done much as far as contacting her up until now, but she did graciously offer to help with any of the nursing issues that I need her for afterward. And she's one that I'll kind of text if I have a question, like, can I ask them this in the hospital, or can I do this? So she is just a super sweet contact to have, and she's been a really sweet advocate for me too, just and helping me gain some confidence. If I had it to do over again, I think I would probably actually hire her or a doula earlier on in the pregnancy, just to kind of walk alongside. I think that's something that's a regret that I have, that I wish I would have taken advantage of kind of earlier in pregnancy.
So what is your plan for postpartum?
I typically do pretty well with just recovery. Aside from the nursing, I try to stay home for about 8 to 10 to 12 weeks after babies are born. My plan with her name is Kalina, by the way. I don't think
That's beautiful.
Either. Kalina Hope. So my plan with Kalina is to stay home with her at least 8 weeks. Like I said, we've got our nursery set up, but she will stay in our bedroom with us at night. We have a little co-sleeper bassinet that we'll keep in the room with us. I will spend as much time as I possibly can with her. we'll have in-laws come up maybe a few days after she's born to kind of help. And we have a lot of volunteers who have said they would be more than happy to come and help take care of our boys while we take care of her. But I think just the first week or two, just getting into the rhythm of what it's like to be a family of 7. Had to think about that one. And so just really trying to give ourselves a lot of grace, not put any pressure on ourselves to do things a certain way, but just really be attuned with each other and soak up those moments with just us and her. I've learned really quickly what I need just for postpartum, like physical care, like I know what that's like. So I have all the bath salts. I have all the things like prepared and ready.
What do you like to do for that?
I love taking like Epsom salt baths.
Me too.
They're so wonderful, so wonderful.
So relaxing.
Yes. And so I try to do those at night, especially those really help. Like if moms have the episiotomies, they help with kind of softening those stitches and making that a little bit more comfortable.
So it's safe to have a bath that soon after birth?
I usually will wait a few days.
Okay.
I usually wait a few days, but then, yeah, just kind of sitting in the water for a little bit has always been really relieving and relaxing, and, you know, just a little bit of that Epsom salt is perfectly fine. And so I do use a lot of ice. It's funny. I don't know if this is like standard for everybody now, but I know when you're in the hospital and if you have an episiotomy, they will often give you like diapers that are filled with ice to put on that wound. So I'm always very grateful for that. And then like there's this numbing spray that they also give you that's really helpful. But now like you can get all these things at Target. Have you seen this? Like Target has this whole like section of postpartum recovery.
Really?
You can get, it's amazing. Where you can get like little like pad shaped ice packs to put in to like kind of use as panty liners. So getting some of those, like they just have all the handy little things, like from postpartum underwear to just anything you need, like right there at Target. So
that's so nice, because everyone always thinks about the baby, and it's like, no, mom needs some love also at this time.
Yes, mom needs a lot of love in that area, because our body has to bounce back.
Yeah.
And so I have like a little postpartum. I'll have my little postpartum bag that'll have, it's not dry ice, but it's like this numbing spray. It'll have that in it. It will have those panty liner ice packs. It will probably have all the hemorrhoid care, like. This just is what it is. And so I'll have my little bag right beside the bath with the bath salts and everything in it. And so that will be helpful. And giving myself the permission to stop and take a bath, whether it's in the morning or at night, is really important. So, and just being willing to ask for what I need, you know, from my husband or from my boys or whoever's offering to help.
And that's so hard sometimes too.
Yes. I think so often as moms, and maybe especially like with new moms too, like we can have so much mom guilt, you know, and wanting to like do labor perfectly and birth perfectly and recovery perfectly and breastfeeding perfectly. And it's not reality. And so giving ourselves just kind of the grace to let go of our expectations and, you know, to be perfect in all those ways and to be willing to ask for what we need. I think that's best for us and best for baby too. So yeah, I try to have loads of grace for myself. I didn't at the beginning. But I've learned that helps me stay sane.
Good.
Yeah.
So we've talked about some postpartum products. What about products that you think help during your pregnancy?
Products that help during pregnancy. Ginger drops. If you struggle with morning sickness or nausea, pregnancy, I think you can get these in Target too. Target has everything apparently. There's one brand of like suckers called Preggy Pops, but then their morning sickness ginger drops, and they're magical. They work wonders. So I keep those on hand. Those are kind of go-tos for
What about
me.
these? How do you take these drops? Are you putting them in water?
They're like cough drops.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Okay.
They're like cough drops. Something else for like later trimester that I have used, there's a supplement, there's a magnesium supplement called Calm.
I love that. It's my religion.
It's so good.
Yes.
Yes. I really struggle with insomnia, with pregnancy insomnia. And it's been a lifesaver. So the Calm supplement. And then I also have really bad restless legs. In my third trimester. I think maybe they started in second trimester too, but Highlands Restful Legs.
Okay.
You put 2 under your tongue and they dissolve, and they also work wonders if you struggle with restless leg syndrome. And I typically do at night. That's when they kick in.
And the Calm should also help with that because there's magnesium in it. I have had hemorrhoids since 2007, like chronic hemorrhoids.
Oh, they're awful.
And Calm is just amazing. I take it every night religiously. Things are a little bad, you get a little more.
That's right. And the raspberry lemon is my favorite.
That's the one I use too.
It's a lifesaver.
It is
a lifesaver. So, when I would experience when hemorrhoids would get really bad, I would use that in combination with like the witch hazel,
the wipes
pads. Yes. And so all those things like stay in my pregnancy, my postpartum bag. But Calm, Restful Legs. For hydration, I love Body Armor Light.
What's that?
It's a sports drink.
Oh,
but
okay.
It only has like the light version. They spell it Lyte. Only has like 2 grams of sugar. It's like chocked full of electrolytes and vitamins. They taste really great. And supposedly they also help boost your milk supply.
Oh, good.
There are a lot of moms that drink like between 2 to 5 of them a day to kind of help increase their milk. But I've started drinking them, just trying them out, and I love them. And they're really, really great for hydrating.
And they just come pre-mixed in liquid form as a drink.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, it's just like a sports drink that you can get anywhere. It's a little harder to find the light version. The regular Body Armor has quite a bit more sugar. They're made with coconut water.
Yum.
Instead of anything else. So it's coconut water and natural juices, and lots of vitamins and electrolytes. So that's a great one that I have found that I wish I'd found earlier. I think if there's any other than, your basic Epsom salt, that's always
It's a go-to.
Yeah, and peppermint and lavender oil. I'm a big fan.
And you put those in your bath too?
I will put those on my wrists, or I'll diffuse them. And I like to have those when, especially during labor, they help me focus. And so I kind of keep those on hand. The peppermint's really good for headaches too. At least for me, has always helped me. So I always make sure I keep those around. Yeah, I think those are probably some of my favorites. Other than just kind of making, like if I'm nursing, making cookies or muffins or things, just using things that'll help with lactation, whether it's like fennel seed or fenugreek or those different things.
Very nice.
But you can get those like prepackaged now too. So they've thought of everything.
I know. Is there any advice you would give to other women in their 40s that are pregnant?
Honestly, I know I think I've said this already, but just to have a lot of grace for yourself. Take care of your body. Know that at 40, your body is just still so very capable, and can even feel better. I don't know if it comes with maturity or what, but it is possible to feel even better pregnant in your 40s than earlier on in life, and find a good therapist for both Pre-labor and after. I realized early on in this pregnancy that I was struggling with antenatal depression. I've never had that before.
Mm-hmm.
And
what was that like?
Experiencing it was awful. I had suicidal ideation and thoughts, and I've never struggled with that before, ever. And so it just really kind of threw me through a loop. But I was willing to, I saw those kind of red flags and knew that this was not normal for me. And I was willing to voice that to my doctor and say, I think I'm struggling with depression. And he put me on a very low dosage of Zoloft, and it's been a lifesaver. I feel great. And, but to not be afraid to, again, ask for what you need.
Yeah, that awareness is great, too.
Yeah. And just to not have any shame or judgment on yourself for what you're feeling, and let go of the pressure, let go of any pressure you might have to be a certain way or a certain kind of mom, or to do things a certain way. Like just breathing out those expectations.
Do you think you're going to have more kids in your 40s?
No, ma'am. I'm done.
That was a quick answer.
Yes. As grateful and excited as I am about this one, I think 5 is plenty. Had we started having them at 40, I might say sure. But no, 5 has got to be my limit.
Is there anything else you want to add?
I don't think so. Other than I truly have enjoyed talking to you so much, Jamie, and I'm so glad to be here. And it's been really fun.
This has been so much fun, and thanks for coming on and sharing your story.
Yeah, of course.
And I can't wait to see this baby girl.
Yeah. Yep. I will definitely share pictures for sure.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that story from Jackie. I really enjoyed talking to her, and my favorite part was I loved how she found out she was pregnant. It was just really funny. So for her update, she told me, so can you believe that this was my longest birth ever? I was in labor a whopping 20 hours in the hospital. We just didn't expect that at all. But everything worked out beautifully. We had a great hospital staff who listened to my concerns and allowed us to stay there in labor to make sure I got my epidural. It took about 19 hours to get from 3 centimeters to 6 centimeters. Then everything really kicked in, and I went from 6 to 10 in no time. Barely pushed twice, and our sweet baby girl was here. She was healthy and 6 pounds, 10 ounces, and 19 inches. She says, I did want to correct something. The doc said not to take a bath for 6 weeks after an episiotomy, so I don't want to give your listeners the wrong info. LOL. I do as I'm told and not take a bath for a while. That is so fantastic. So happy for her. And so she was saying that her labors were getting shorter and shorter, and this one is the longest. That's so fun. It's like just when you plan for something, it's going to go differently. Congratulations to Jackie and her family. And I will see you on the next one. Have a great week. Bye.